Well, good morning, my friends. It's been a while. So, welcome to the NeedleBugg. My name is Karen. Today is July the 14th, 2023. And if you are new here, welcome and thank you so much for clicking on this video and giving it a chance. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I am just so glad to have you here. We always have a fun time on this channel, or so we'd like to think. And to all my VIP members, thank you so very much. But to each and every one of you, I so appreciate you all and are so happy that you are joining me today. So, what are we going to be up to today? Well, what I have on the I was going to say hoop, but I don't have it on the hoop today. I have it on the Q-Snap. So what I have on the Q-Snap is God shed his grace. So let me just zoom out a little bit. That way you can see a little, there you go. You can see a little more of it. You can see the fence starting to come in and going up the line here. A lot of the grass and what have you. So we're into not a very interesting part of the chart as of yet, but it will come. It will come. I haven't been doing quite as much stitching. Oh, wait, I just tweaked the wrong thing there. There we go. That looks pretty good. Yeah, stitching has been at a little bit of a standstill lately, only because there's just been other life things going on. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But as you can see, back to this piece for a couple seconds, I am back to stitching on the diagonal again and stitching my rows vertically instead of horizontally. I truly am finding that I do like that a bit better, amazingly so. There was a time that I could not wrap my head around it. And, you know, when something clicks, all of a sudden it clicks and it all makes sense. And now I'm good to go. And now I'm really kind of liking this way of stitching. And, you know, I wasn't going to go back to parking and all that. I'm going to say good stuff. Because it's not always good stuff, because you know me, I change my mind all the time. But I was finding that I was getting lost. Maybe it was just a matter of what was going on at the time. It could very well have been. I cannot decide that for sure, but I was just having trouble and getting lost. And then I had to have a conversation with myself. And I said, self, you really need to think about this. I know, I have gone here before. Say it. Just say it. We know, Karen, you have said this all before. Yes, I have. And that keeps flipping back and forth. But you know, it's a woman's prerogative to keep changing her mind. But I kept going, you know, life is just too short to have it be to have your stitching be stressful and a pain, that like it wasn't that I didn't want to pick it up here of late. Circumstances were such that it wasn't always convenient to pick it up. But, I didn't want to feel like I was avoiding stitching because I was having trouble getting lost in the pattern or making too many mistakes and all that wonderful stuff. So it's back to a vertical diagonal, and you can see I'm converting it back. All of this was cross-country stuff. So now I'm just kind of filling it in as I go down the row here. And I just decided it doesn't matter how long it takes. It just doesn't matter. If it gets finished in my lifetime, well, that's just all well and good. If it doesn't, well, you know what? That's okay too. Maybe somebody out there will finish it. So that's quite all right also. Because, life's too short. You just got to do what you got to stitch what you want to stitch and be happy with that, no matter what. Yeah, it looks like it's all the way down here. Do I want to carry down about 15, 20 stitches? I don't think so. I do not think that is going to be the case. So I'm going to end this thread because I really don't want to carry that far. And I'm just doing a little pin stitch here to end it. And what I might do, since you should be able to see, I'm going to go down here. So it's not this block, but it's this block, and it's this stitch right here. So we are going to actually start this thread down here while we have it in our needle. And the way I'm starting threads these days is I'm going down in the top right-hand hole. Okay. I'm coming up in the center of the stitch, in the middle, where things cross. I'm leaving just an itty-bitty tail, itty-bitty. I'm going back down in the top right and coming up in the bottom left. So that gives me basically a quarter stitch. And you see that doesn't really come out. But then what I'm going to do is do the first half of my X. And I am going to actually cross this one at this moment in time. And I'll mark that as done. And I will park my thread right here. Because I think, yep, that's the lowest one. Okay, so that's ready to go and parked for the next time. Okay, that way it's already in my needle and I don't have to put it away. And then when I get down to there, get it out again, because I know it's going to be used there and I have it in my needle. So why not just start it further down avoid the travel. You guys get it. You understand. So now we're going to go back up here to where we were. There we go. Okay. I'm trying to keep the edge of where the vertical that I'm stitching on close to the edge of your screen, what you can see. That way you know that is the column that's being stitched. Okay, so now we're going to go to this symbol. And by the way, I am using markup again, as opposed to Pattern Keeper, just because my Samsung tablet is acting really weird. Really weird. So I said, you know, it's again, is it worth all the trouble? I have markup. It's on my iPad. It's on my Samsung. Samsung's acting weird, so let's just set it up with the iPad. And that's what we did. So now we stitched that one. And we're going to park it on this one. Bottom left. Because I am working up each vertical as opposed to down each vertical. And then we're going to go up here. So, update on the hubs. Hubby had his surgery on let me think. Tuesday was the 4th. So it was Thursday the 6th of July. And he did very, 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 very well. And he came home. I brought him home the next day. And he really has been doing very well since. He's recovering rather nicely. No pain, no discomfort. Yeah. Actually, he's doing far better than what we expected. Well, and I don't blame the doctor. The doctor kind of told him, or told both of us, yeah, kind of set up the worst case scenario. And that was a little bit of psychological things going on there. He set up the worst case scenario. It's that way when it's far better than that, you're just pleased as punk and happy as a camper that it wasn't all as bad as the doctor initially told you it was going to be. Yeah, and he's done well. He's done very, very well with that. Now, this stitch here I completed because it was on the line. The one above it I did because it was right there. But I don't want to park in my next column or my next diagonal. So I am going to end this thread because there's so much above here that I don't want to start the thread there or let it park there because of all the other stitches above it. So I am going to end it now. Sometimes you just have to look around and make a decision. If this would have been the only 2 stitches, I would have completed it right away. But there's a lot of this, or well, not a lot, but a fair amount of this color in that area. So it's like, okay, let's just end this and we will restart it in the next column. Because I don't know. It's, I guess, one of my fickle quirks. I don't like to park in the next diagonal. Reason? Too many threads. Too many threads hanging. There are times, as you all know, the threads hanging in my current diagonal are enough to make me a bit crazy. So I don't want to add to that by having more threads hanging that are not going to be used for a period of time, and have them in the next diagonal just hanging there and just causing me an annoyance. So I end them as opposed to carry into the next column. So I am enjoying stitching this way at this moment in time. As I said, we all know me. We all know how I like to switch it up. And who knows, till this is all said and done, it may get switched up a lot of different times. Just because, well, just because I can. But there's nothing wrong with that. I read again about someone who was saying, I want to try whatever method it was. I kind of think she might have been talking about the Royal Rose thing, Allison's method, and said she wanted to use that on her next project. And of course, my head goes to, well, why not just start it on the one that you're doing now? You don't have to wait for a new project to switch. Oh, wait, switch your method. Wrong hole. I mean, we all know that I am the advocate of stitch whichever way you like, whenever you want to, on the same piece, because it all doesn't matter. It all looks the same on the front. The only way you're going to tell is on the back. So I find that interesting. And I hope there's not people out there that do this. The thought did occur to me that if someone doesn't like their method, whatever they're stitching at that moment, and they don't like that method, and they want to switch to something different, I hope, I want to get a pillow from behind my back here. That's what I do. I hope that they aren't restarting their project just to hold it. I hope they're not restarting their project just to switch a method, because that's really kind of silly. There we go. That's a bit better. You know, this old back has its issues. So that was just a thought I had when I read that. Like, oh, please, don't start it fresh. That's kind of silly. And of course, after I do a video on how not to knot your thread, look what happens. I knot my thread and it's on the top. So we'll just play a little bit here with it, and hopefully. Sometimes I can wiggle them out. This one got away from me. Normally, if it's one of those loose knots, if you just, there we go. If you just take the knot and pull it straight up to flip the, where it's wrapped around, you can just pull it right off. But this one, I pulled a little tighter than I normally do and had to finagle it a little bit. So we're going to park that. Yeah, I'm going to park that here. And now we're going to do this one. So yeah, this is slower. Absolutely is slower. However, it has advantages of the fact that you have no blank spaces to go back and fill in. Everything is completed. I felt something there, but not. And we'll go 1, 2, 3. Mark it here. There we go. And we'll go up here. And this is going to be probably another one that I end because it's in the next column, but yeah, I don't see it again until way down here. So we're going to do the same thing as I did before. So let's see, what other news do I have to tell you about? Went to the eye doctor yesterday. And not surprised by the fact, because I've been noticing it, that my vision got worse again. Yeah. But he could correct it with glasses, so I'm getting a new pair of glasses. And I did tell him about how much cross stitch I do, and he said, you can cross stitch all day long, that's not affecting. He didn't really say what the issue was. Basically that it's just my age, and it's just in my right eye. My left eye is great. It's just my right eye. So we'll just keep hanging in there and doing our thing with regular appointments and what have you. But I have new glasses coming, and the other thing I did, just to avoid, mainly to avoid the eye strain, because normally, most times, that's what causes my vision to get blurry, is the eye strain. I mean, they get blurry, they get watery, they get itchy, they get, yeah, all those good things. So I bit the bullet and I ordered a pair of those. I had talked about them before, the Craft Optics, those glasses. Daughter calls them my scientific goggles. I didn't get them yet. I just ordered them yesterday. It takes about, their turnaround time normally is about 3 weeks, but they're running a little bit behind, so it could be closer to a month. And that's okay. That's fine. No rush. We've been doing what we're doing without them up to this point. So it's another couple weeks. Not that big a deal. And I have to tell you, the folks there were extremely nice, very, very helpful. I really was impressed with their customer service. She helped me decide on which, I guess it would be distance. Like you want to see close with the magnifier, but then that you also want to be able to look up and away. And she helped me to decide what I needed to see the most when I looked up and away. And I said, well, since I stitch electronically with my iPad, seeing my iPad is most important. Because, yeah, my TV's on, but do I really watch it? 1, 2, 3. That would be probably not so much. That would probably be a more we listen, or I listen, as opposed to actually watching it. So she helped me through all of that, was extremely helpful, was extremely nice. I was very, very happy with her assistance. It's just not that often. And I did confirm that yes, you don't need to buy new ones if your prescription changes. You just get a hold of them, send them back. They put the new prescription in and send them back to you. What more can you ask? I thought that was fantastic. So that's where we are with the eye situation. So, ladies of a younger age, see what you have to look forward to. Getting older is not for sissies. Not at all for sissies. It kind of has its moments. But speaking of moments, oh my, I have to tell you guys this. Oh, it was such a joy. For as many, not that it was a negative thing with the eyes, it's like we all knew there's issues. Disappointing in the fact that my vision got a little worse, but that is what it is. But it's also quite wonderful when you have moments that are just super, super enjoyable. It's a little bit of a story. I hope you don't mind, because Nana was just pleased as punch. Glenn had his surgery, and because it was at a hospital in Lancaster, and I don't like to drive in Lancaster. My daughter went with me. She drove us in. And then she left to take the kids to soccer and do some things that she had to do. And then she came back and got me. But then I stayed overnight at her house because it was closer to the hospital rather than driving all the way a half hour back home. So the kids and I had, well, Emmy and I had kind of decided that she wanted to try finger knitting. Okay, Nana will help you finger knit. So we picked out a kit and ordered it, and I took that along. Now, before the day of the surgery, I'm thinking, oh, geez, this is not going to go well. If I do finger knitting with Emmy, Abe is going to feel left out because they end up in a competition for Nana's attention. So I'm trying to come up with, well, what can I get that he would be happy with while I help Emmy finger knit? Well, I found a winner chicken dinner, let me tell you. You guys that are younger might not remember these, but you guys that are of a certain age, like I am, will probably most certainly remember them. Do you remember? I know I had them when I was a kid. They were the spools that you knit off of. It was actually a thread spool. Mine was actually a thread spool that had 4, 6, however many nails in the top, and you would loop around the nail and then pull the yarn up over, and you would knit a long tube that came out the center of the thread spool. And after you knit all of those, or knit as long as you wanted it to be, then you could coil it and make a trivet or a pot holder or well, I never did any of that. I just knit the thing. So I thought, well, now that would be something Abe could do. He at one point wanted to learn how to cross stitch, so I thought, well, maybe he'll like doing this while Emmy and I finger knit. So before Emmy and I started finger knitting, I set him up with the knitting spool. Well, let me tell you, that child went to town. I ended up, because I didn't want anybody to be left out, I ended up getting 3 of them. Now, my initial thought was, help Emmy with her finger knitting. She got a cat that you could make, which, by the way, turned out to be a real bust. It was for 6-year-olds and up. She couldn't do it. I had difficulty doing it. Not so much the finger knitting, but the putting it together was, oh, well, we ended up with a godforsaken awful mess. But anyway, till it was all said and done, everybody was spool knitting. Jen, Abe, and Emmy, and Nana was just helping where she needed to help. It was such a success with these kids. They loved it. In fact, Abe, once he started, which was like in the afternoon, maybe 2 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he didn't quit until he went to bed. All day. The whole rest of the day, he didn't quit. And then he was so darn cute. So darn cute. The bottom of his long tube of knitting had a little opening in it because he hadn't quite pulled it tight enough. And he stuck his finger up in there, and it was, oh, Nana, this feels so good. This is so soft. I want to make one of these for each of my fingers. I said, pardon me. I said, you go right ahead. We can make whatever you want with this. And he said, I just really love this, Nana. I really, really love it. And I said, well, that's exactly why Nana got it, because she thought you would love it. Yeah, there's a nod again. Yeah, he was just, well, they were both just thrilled with it. Emmy even did hers to the point that they were having a race of who could make their tube the longest. It was just so much fun. Just so much fun. Well, then the next morning, of course, being a little worried and what have you, I was up early, like maybe 5:30, 5:45. I went downstairs and was having coffee. And by 6:30, Abe came trotting down the steps with his spool knitting in hand, sat on the sofa, and started going at it again. And again, he was saying how he really, really was enjoying it. So we started having a conversation about crafts and knitting and all these good things until it ended up, pardon me, till it ended up, he decided that, I really like this. I would like to make hats, and socks, and scarves, all this stuff. So till it was all said and done, we ordered the knitting loom set where you get different size looms for him to make hats and scarves and blankets and all those good things. So Nana's taking that down this Sunday with a bag full of yarn so that he can do that. I have a hunch. It helps him. He has a bit of ADD or ADHD, one of them. He has to constantly be moving. Oh my God, it makes me so tired. But doing this, he can sit still. He can focus on it for hours. So I think it helps to relax him and feel better. And it's for him very tactile. He likes the feel of the yarn in his fingers. So with that, Nana has decided that she came up with a successful thing for them to do. Emmy even worked on hers most of the day, in between having to play some board games and what have you with Nana that she wanted to do. She's the I have to be the center of attention little gal. So Nana did some games with her and what have you. And so she didn't do quite as much, but also enjoyed it just the same. And for Jen, my daughter, she said it brought back memories because I had her doing that as a kid, which she liked then, and she was going to town, and the kids said to her, "Mom, how can you do that so fast?" And she said, "It's muscle memory from when I was your age." So it all came back to her right away. So Nana found a successful thing to do with the kids. And it was such an insightful young grandson, because his comment to me was, "Nana, when I get older, I'll be able to tell people that my Nana taught me how to do this when I was young." I said, "Yes, you will be able to say that." He says, "Yes, it will be a nice memory for me to have." And I thought, what a kid. What a kid. What 9-year-old can think that far ahead, that I will have this wonderful memory of me and my Nana sitting here spool knitting? Or next it will be loom knitting. So Nana left that day with a happy heart, as it should be. Okay, I didn't mark my parked one here, but that's okay. We know where we are this time. So I can't think of anything else to jabber on about at the moment. That's pretty much all my news. See Glenn's surgery. He's doing well. Eye doctor appointment. Kids. Not much stitching done. I have some videos to make yet to demonstrate some stitches that will be in the Hardanger stitch along. So those will be up and coming probably next week. No, it'll be next week sometime. Since things are going well, I will be back to pretty much a regular, I don't really have a schedule, but back to pretty much doing more videos again. I like to get at least one a week out at this point. Sometimes there will be two. If you have any ideas of things that you want a video on, something that you want to learn, please let me know so that I can make one for you so that you can follow along with that. The Hardanger ones have been up for people that want to learn that. I've gotten some very nice feedback on those, of people who have used those videos and completed some projects with them. So that's really, really nice to get that feedback, and I'm glad that people are enjoying them. Hopefully they're pretty much not self-explanatory, but things are explained so that you can understand them and do that. Just an update for those of you who are interested in Hardanger and are interested in Yvette Stanton's book, that's coming out on filling stitches. It has not gone to the printer yet, so it may not and probably will not be out until the beginning of next year. However, pre-ordering is available. You can pre-order it from various shops, I believe, or you can pre-order it directly from her. Now, understanding that it's going to be shipping from Australia, so it may take a little bit longer to get to you. Personally, I was okay with that. I believe it's on Amazon as a pre-order. So if you are interested in Hearthanger, it's a book you are going to want to have. Absolutely going to want to have. As soon as I heard about it, it was like I wanted my hot little fingers on it. But that is as that is. So, my friends, with that, I can't think of anything else to update you on today. Like I said, we've been busy with appointments and things, like Glenn's surgery and appointments, and not a whole lot of stitching has gotten done. But be that as it may, and hopefully that will pick up again. And we'll get a little bit more done so that I will have something to show you, because right now I don't have enough to show. And I'm not working on bunches of projects either. I'm kind of stuck on this, a Hearthanger piece, and that's about it. I've done some knitting in between. That's about all I've gotten done, and it's really not enough to show. So we'll try and shoot for a stitching update maybe in August. That will give me some time to get stuff stitched to show you. So with that, my friends, I hope all of you have a fine and wonderful weekend that is upon us. Gosh, I hope some of this heat starts to go away, because, yeah, I'm not a heat person. I don't like hot, and I don't like cold. Give me spring and give me fall. So stay cool, my friends. A lot of people have it worse off than we do here in Pennsylvania. So stay cool, stitch happy, stitch health, and be healthy. And of course, you all know, are you going to beat me to it again? I know you will. We all know there are no rules in cross stitch, only the ones you set for yourself. So until next time, my friends, have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye, and love you all.